Yeah, so we're really excited today because we are going to have a bit of a chat about Ash.
Ash.
And yeah, what brought you along to this place where we find ourselves sitting on this couch together?
Crikey. It's been a hell of a journey when you look back, isn't it? So much fun too.
Yes, we have had quite a bit of fun. We've drunk litres of tea. And as I speak that, I will reach for my tea.
Yes, beautiful. Yeah, a lot of tea has gone down.
So I wonder, Ash, if you could take us to, I don't know, would it be 2 years ago? Like, take us back to the struggle, right?
Yeah, I guess for me it was, like we spoke about, your journey was a bit more like dramatic, whereas mine was slightly more of the slow burn, right? And what probably, had I not had my big sort of moment of realization, I probably could have continued living in the way that I was living and not even realizing that there was something else more for me. So prior to all of this, I was running my skin and beauty business. I had team, quite a big clinic, working away, again, the outwardly successful business, and also completely consumed by it. Not being able to be, now that I look back, I can see that it was really not healthy. I was not being a present parent. Like, in the moments that I did have time with my children, I was just constantly in my head thinking about my business, worrying about my business, worrying about money, worrying about, what if someone calls in sick, or constantly trying to fit people in outside of my regular hours. So I was working all over the show, which put a lot of pressure on my marriage, on me as a parent. And it was just, now that I look back, it was a really unhealthy way of living, because I wasn't any good to anybody, because I was trying to do all of the things and I was just completely hectic, and I was missing out on my own life because I was so in my head worrying. It was basically just worrying, like stressed and worrying and rushing and filling all of my time. Like, I would literally get in the car and kids in the car, and we'd race out the drive, and I'd drop them to school and then rush to work, and like everything was down to the minute. And then finish, and you're like, literally sometimes I'd be running to get to school, pick up with 30 seconds to spare. Like, that was how I lived my life. And then in any downtime that I had, I was just in my head worrying about business. So again, outwardly it looked, and I would get compliment all the time how I had a great, you've built such a beautiful business. Like, you said that to me multiple times with being a client. And yeah, I did, but it didn't feel like the life that I truly wanted. And I think I just ignored that for so long, because forever I thought, it'll get better when I make more money, or when I have more clients, or when I move into the new shop, or when I move back home, because I moved my business 3 times, 1, 2, 3, this is 4 times, 3 or 4 times. So, constantly searching for the solution to make it easier or make it better, or I'll feel better, whatever. But like I said, I don't think, had I not had the experience that I had later on, I probably would have just carried on like that, thinking that was normal.
Yeah, there was struggle. However, the struggle wasn't necessarily uncomfortable enough to
do anything about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess what I heard too in there, which is just such a common thread, is like being everything to everyone at the sacrifice of yourself and those closest to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess the first little part of my journey into personal development was actually getting a business coach or a business mentor, because I thought, I just need some more strategies. I need someone to come in and look at my business and tell me what to do, because I don't know how to do it, because I'm just a beauty therapist and I don't know how to run a business. So if I can get a coach to come in and show me, and I can follow their process, then that'll be great. That'll be the bucket of gold at the end of the rainbow. That'll be the thing. But I was very fortunate enough to have a business coach who actually started, her biggest theme was self-mastery. We started, with all the strategy, but then part of it was self-mastery. And it's like, well, actually, you can't run your business if you are, jacked on adrenaline and your nervous system is shot to bits. Like, you are your business essentially. And so it really started me on that journey of reflecting on myself and who I am and who I'm showing up as, and what does success look like for me. And honestly, in that moment when I realized that, I burst into tears, and I just felt so overwhelmed, like it was too much. And it was a really hard moment for me of realization, like it's actually me that needs to do some work on myself, and I can't blame it on my business anymore. Like I can only go as far. My business will only go as far as I can go personally. So it was amazing. She was great, and definitely the first little bit of change for me was in that, and realizing that it's me. I'm the problem. Damn it.
And the beautiful thing is, I am the problem, and therefore I am the solution, right?
Which was probably the part in that that I missed. Again, it was at the very beginning of that journey. So highlighting the problem, but not realizing that I was also the solution. So I kind of, for a little while there, after I finished working with her, I fell into the trap of feeling like, because then I had a little bit of awareness, right? And I didn't know how to, once you're aware, it's almost to my detriment, because then I didn't know how to, I didn't also have the solution, which I didn't realize was me. But so then I have all this awareness of like, you need to work on yourself, which also just almost kind of made me feel like you are broken, or you need fixing, or you need to change, and then not having that solution. And I really went in a spiral of like feeling pretty helpless there for a bit, having that bit of awareness. And I feel like that can be a bit of a trap when we do like self-help or shelf-help, you know, when you read all the books and listen to all the podcasts. It's like you've got the awareness, but you don't have that solution piece, right?
What's the practical application of said awareness now? Like, what am I actually going to do differently? How am I going to show up differently? That's, I can completely relate. I mean, that was, for such a long time, it was like, okay, I know that I have these patterns and these things that I'm doing, and they're detrimental to me. I don't have any clue how to break free of them.
Exactly, yeah. And then the next part of my journey, so again, trying to find the golden nugget of like the thing in my business that's going to create all this success for me, which again, knowing that it was needing to be me. But then my whole world kind of came to a standstill when my dad died, which was really sudden. So I was at work and I got a phone call to say that it was an ambulance person, paramedic, to say that they were with my dad and that he was unconscious and it really wasn't good and that we needed to get to the hospital. And long story short, we had 36 hours with him before he passed away. And so I literally talked to him on the phone the day before, and then 2 days later he's dead. And so that for me was, at 63 years old, was a huge wake-up call for like, do I want to be on my deathbed? Like, what happens if that's me at 63? Do I want to look back on my life, or will I look back on my life and think, yes, I nailed it, I gave it everything I got, like I really lived that full human experience? Or if I continue doing what I'm doing right now, I'm going to get to that time and go, I've missed the whole point. Like, I've missed the time with my children, I missed developing a deep relationship with my husband, like all those things. And so it was a massive slap in the face for me of like, what am I actually doing? And am I doing right? What I'm doing right now, I'm 36, I was 5 at the time, 34. In 30 years' time, do I want to keep doing the same thing day in, day out for the next 30 years? That was a huge, like, wow, no, I don't. I don't want to do that. And so that led me to have, this is one of the things that we talk about, right? It's like just leaning in and doing the thing even when it makes absolutely no sense. And even back then I knew that was what I needed to do. So I shut down my business, not as in the shop, and moved it all home and moved my whole business online. I had no idea what that was going to look like, if it was even going to work. I didn't really have a solid plan, but I just knew that kind of I needed to make that happen. But and it's all kind of led here. But in the middle of that was when you and I kind of came together here, which was after you had got back from rehab, and I had recently lost my dad, and we met together in the car park outside my shop, and it was like, what are you doing? And you were like, well, what are you doing?
I like to share this story because it was quite a it was a very emotional experience for me, because you were one of the first people I spotted back into the community after being away, and obviously filling my head with all the, what is everybody going to be, judged about me, and all that, just absolutely laden in fear of what are people going to think about me, and spotted you across the car park, and just instantly decided to drive over to you. I'd also heard that your dad had passed away, and so I wanted to come and say hello to you. And I just think it was, for me, that's just divine timing, right? It was just like you just happened to be there, stopping in at the shop to grab something.
Like a Saturday or a Sunday, wasn't it? And backstory, like Charlie had been a client of mine for 10 years, I think we worked it out. So we had that client-therapist relationship, and we always had great chats. So, but it's not like it is today. Like
but that was it, right? Like it was just, So, but something drew me over to you. Having lost both of my parents, I think I have, a deep compassion and understanding for, what someone is going through when they lose a parent. And so I saw you and, came over to chat to you, and I guess that was my first opportunity to also be really honest about where I had been and what had happened to me.
Because I had no idea. I knew you were going home. And then I was like, where is she? Like, I thought she was coming back.
Yeah.
Sort of like a couple of months ago.
Hang on. Seems a bit longer.
Yes.
And I think that was, I'm extremely grateful for that, because you were the perfect person for me to, I guess, lean into that fear of being open and honest about what had happened and where I had been. And I was obviously just met with loving kindness, and we kind of just embraced each other, and then decided that we were going to have a coffee.
Have a coffee on this very couch. Oh dear, little did we know.
Little did we know, eh?
Yeah, and it was simply just like, shall we do something together? Like, literally having no idea what that even looked like.
And again, like, for further context, it's like I was just exiting my environmental consultancy business, the second one in a couple of years of having to stop doing something with others, and having felt like I'd got kind of drawn into and, was doing something that I had immediately fell out of love with quite quickly. And so I was feeling very nervous about, I'm going to say hitching my wagon too, but joining up with someone else again, I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't really know what I want to do. I don't want to suddenly be letting you down if I don't know where we're going, or be a bit of a flake, because, I don't know, I'm in recovery, man. I had to go to rehab. Who knows what I'm, can you trust me? And it was, I think the experience I had anyway was that we kept coming into this beautiful space and playing around with the idea of what would we do if we wanted to love what we do.
And I was still working full-time in my premises. I was still in there at that point, so it was just carving out a couple of mornings, or was this one morning a week I think we met. Again, a lot of tea drinking, a lot of talking.
But I think that was the beginning, right? It was just having permission to kind of think outside of the box, right?
Totally.
I think that was where we began to redefine, certainly for me, was like, I don't want to go back into doing something because of all the reasons I've done it before. So I don't know what I want to do next, and I don't really know what that looks like, because everything I've done before, I'm kind of like, not that way. So
exactly.
It's a real exploration.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think for us both in that beginning phase was the conversations that we were able to have, and the places that we could go with each other in terms of being really vulnerable and just sharing and having those chats. We didn't really have anybody else in our lives, well, I didn't, that I could have conversations like that where somebody would just fully see me for me and encourage and let me go to those places and talk about things that were really vulnerable and raw and honest. And that's what our relationship has kind of started on, right? And where it keeps going. And that's why we laugh, because we go 10 times faster being together in some areas, and then sometimes we're like 10 times slower because we love a good yarn, and but every time we meet up, it's like a coaching session before we get into the actual work, right?
Absolutely.
And there's actually nothing wrong with that, because we just laughed before. We're our own bosses. We make up our own rules. So if that's what business looks like, great. I'm here for it.
And I think that's just been our learning curve as well, right? Because both being so used to having, almost like back-to-back meetings, appointments, and delivering a certain way. It was like we were totally flipping it around, and it was, it's allowing that time to getting used to a new way of being, and it doesn't just, as we said, it's not a flick of a switch, right? No. It's actually, you lean in a bit more, you're like, oh, this is a bit fun, and it's also, your mind kicks in and goes, but is this enough? Are you really doing this? Blah, 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 all of that doubt, kind of sneaky stuff, and then it's, lean back in. And I think where we go 10 times faster is also because we have a coach on tap, right? And it's like on the days when I might be a bit more stuck, you can be like, come on, let's go, let's crack on, and vice versa. So that's the beauty of having a partnership when you are basically just venturing into the complete unknown.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't change it for the world. It's been a huge amount of growth, I know for you too, but yeah, for me over the last 18 months has just been exponential. Like the changes in, yes, of course, how I run my skin coaching business, how we've set this business up has completely changed. It's definitely cracked open my marriage and we are growing hugely together, and I can see that the changes there are amazing. Even with Scott, and him doing what he wants to do, he's had a huge big journey of his own, but allowing him to lean into his art. And I think by me going first into going for something that I'm really passionate about, even when it doesn't necessarily make sense or others don't necessarily see it as like why the hell would you be doing that? You're not making enough money, or you're not working hard enough, or you're not, you don't fit into that stereotypical box of success, but doing it anyway because I love it and I'm passionate about it is allowing him to go and do the same thing, to pursue art. And both of us laughed the other day, it's we don't have any of the things that we thought that we needed to have to be successful before when I was running my other business, and yet I'm the happiest. I've got the feeling that I thought I would get when I had all those things, and I don't have any of those things, and I've got the feeling that I have of feeling just so free and happy and so on purpose and aligned with what it is that I want to do, and being really true to who I am, because I'm actually starting to uncover who I am as a person, which I don't think I've ever known how to do that, or who that actually even was, after parenting in particular. You have children and it's far out, who the hell is this person? I don't even think it's rediscovering who you are, because you grow so much. It's just learning the new you, I guess. Yeah, and even in my children, you've talked about this too, but the change in them, especially with the neurospicy children in both of our households.
Yep.
Navigating that as a mother is a lot, but I know that because I've been able to work so much on myself, I have so much more space and capacity, compassion, patience, understanding for my children, and I can see how the change in them, and I know that what I'm doing for myself so that I can pass on to them is just going to completely change the way that they are growing up, and the humans that they are going to be, the adults that they're going to be on the other side of it. Is that in itself is worth all of this. If we just decided to stop right now, it'd be absolutely worth it.
Yeah. And so it starts with, I just need a quick fix strategy for my business, because then I'll create ease, and then I'll be able to do all of the things that I aspire to do that I'm not currently doing. And what instead you discover is no quick fix strategy is going to create this magical future. Only once you take radical personal responsibility and start showing up the way you want to in your life. Which takes a whole bunch of courage, right, to make those decisions and to keep doing it. And then it's suddenly oh, actually what's important is, all of these other bits of my life coming together, and that redefinition of success and where I want to be going and how I want to be earning a living and making an impact on this earth whilst I have my time here.
Totally. And I think so many of us, and myself in particular, thought it was all about money, right? Like I just needed to make more money, because if I had more money then I'd be happy and I'd be free and it would give me all of these things. And it's like, actually, it is so far from the truth. Like money, yes, sure, can bring happiness, and that happiness can also be sourced inside us already. And it's not actually the meaning of life is to just work your guts out to have one holiday a year or to have a fancy car, but also be like miserable for the 360 other days of the year. Yeah, so lots and lots of learnings. But yeah, like I say, I wouldn't change it for the world. And the difference now how I feel, and even what we're doing, like there's so much uncertainty in our lives, both of us. And I would never have coped with that before. And now it's great. It's so fun. And it's just trust. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is to trust myself, believe in myself, and unpack a little bit more about what it is that I actually want and desire in my life has been huge.
Beautiful. And I'm wondering, for someone who was sitting where you were 2 years ago or so, what do you think? What would you say to yourself 2 years ago when you were seeking and searching and just thinking that you needed some
magic
grand
pill
solution of some sort?
I think this is a tricky question, because sometimes I think you can tell somebody something and until they're ready to hear it, it doesn't always go in, right? So knowing that, I would probably tell myself to slow down and just bring a little bit of presence into my life, and to think about the bigger picture, not just the here and now, and what's actually important to me. Because time is our only real commodity, right? And it's really important how you spend that. And it's not going to be, when you look back on your life, it's not going to be the business or the things that you had or the money or the whatever. It's going to be the moments of presence that you're going to remember, and that's going to have the greatest impact. And even though it might feel like you're chasing something now, like, is it actually really, truly, deeply what you want? And just to tune into that and go after that, not after what you think you should, or, the ideas of success again that other people have put on. It's actually tuning in. Give yourself time to tune in to what it is that you actually want and what is actually important to you, and then go from there. That's what I would
Beautiful.
say.
Yeah. A great first step.
Absolutely, yeah. Because it's like what we've done in the last 18 months is huge in terms of growth, and that can feel quite confronting, I think, for people, and it's kind of scary, and it seems like, I don't know if I want to do that. And if I had maybe looked at it in 10 times fast, gone, so you're here today and this is what that's going to look like, it would have probably been like, shit, I don't know if I want to do that. So it can be quite intense, but it's just one little bit at a time, right? It doesn't have to be this big scary whole life overhaul. It doesn't happen like that, like you say. It's one little bit at a time. Yep.
Those daily steps towards, and some stumbles backwards, and then
totally
it's another couple of steps towards, and it's And
again, that cliche saying, life's not it's the journey, not a destination, which is so true, because this journey that we're on, we're not on it to get somewhere. We're on it to be on it and in it, right? So I don't ever feel like we'll ever stop growing and learning and evolving and working out who I am and what I want. All of this is just going to continue getting better and better and better. It's not like, I'm here now.
Brilliant.
Tick. Done. Yeah, exactly. It's the one dopamine hit we won't get, is that tick.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. It's it's some of the I want to say the paradoxes of like, oh, I need something else to some external solution and then I'll feel okay. And it's like, nope, you are the solution. Everything you need is in you already. And that other one of like, I need to get somewhere or be somewhere and then. And it's like, no, all we've got is right now, here, now. How are you showing up? How are you doing, taking that next step? Are you moving towards what you want or away from? And yeah, that simplicity of, those small little things that, are just absolutely life-changing.